there will be baseball. After a 99-day lockout, we now have a complete 162-game schedule starting with opening day on April 7th. To celebrate the return of baseball, we want to do a wow promotion, so here we go. The first 50 customers will get the full season of MLB, including the playoffs, for just over $3 per day. How much of a wow is this? MLB through the All-Star break is priced at $7.95, and through the World Series is priced at $1,095. But the first 50 customers can get MLB through the World Series for $6.99. No coupon is needed, and this comes out to just over $3 per day. Once we hit 50 redemptions, the super early bird discount will come down, and the lowest possible price to lock in baseball will no longer be available. So act fast before you get shut out on our biggest price drop ever.
Here we go. NCAA Tournament is here. Full throttle Thursday, Friday, 64 games the next 2 days and nights. This is college basketball happy hour tip-off. You know, for once it's appropriate that we're calling it the happy hour show at 1:45 Eastern live on Wager Talk TV because it's St. Patrick's Day as well. I'm sure there are several people drinking at 1:45 Eastern and watching the NCAA Tournament games, which are on live as we're doing this show. And, of course, this show is archived 24/7 on Wager Talk TV. Also available on your favorite podcast apps. Going to get to some free best bets at the end of the show, covering some of the Thursday night games. But we're also going to look at 3 Friday NCAA tournament games. So if you're not joining us live on Thursday afternoon, if you're watching this after some of the games, you got plenty of time to get some great information for Friday. And I'm joined by 3 of the best in the industry when it comes to breaking down college basketball at WagerTalk.com. Ralph Michaels, never in doubt, Tony Finn, and Dave Koken as well. And Ralph, let me start with you. This is a great couple days, 2 of my favorite days in all of sports. And then you add in St. Patrick's Day on top of it. It's a heck of a Thursday. What you got going on at WagerTalk.com?
4 plays for today. One's about to tip off, but I'll be loading my Friday package in a little bit here. Big plays have been dominant. College basketball, 5% plays, 7-1. Plays rated 4% and higher, 68.3%. WT.buzz/RM. And the Thursday and Friday college basketball stat sheets are loaded on my homepage.
Love it. And Ralph was also on Wager Talk today earlier with me and Teddy Covers. Check out that replay here on Wager Talk TV if you missed it. He has a couple Thursday night games in the NCAA tournament analyzed. 3 selections for you on that show. So 2 Thursday night games on Wager Talk today earlier with Ralph Michaels. Tony Finn, always never in doubt with Tony Finn. He's here as well on Thursday. And Tony, what you got going on at WagerTalk.com?
Well, I have a big card today. I have a couple games already. Have already tipped underway. I happen to be on Michigan on that side, and they look pretty slow, and they look pretty sloppy early. But so far, they've kind of ground their way back to sea level. And last time I saw, they were up by 1. So I've been kind of working here and there. And good stuff there. And again, essentially, it's a pick 'em. If Michigan was good enough, or if they were good today, I thought they would be good enough. They haven't been very consistent. But I have another 7 games between that are already up, available for Thursday and Friday, only at Wage Talk.
And Dave Koken, we spoke a couple hours ago as well on Wager Talk today on Thursday. We mentioned, Michigan's one of those dangerous teams if they get by Colorado State here because, they were top 4 in the country when the season began. Also talked about Boise and Memphis, another couple teams that could be sleepers in that 8-9 spot. What you got going on tonight on Thursday at WagerTalk.com? You also mentioned that baseball special with Ruby talked about here at the intro of the show. I know we've gotten a couple sales on that already. There's only 50 total spots available for that $6.99 early bird, and they are chipping away as we speak. They're going to be gone in a few days. Dave does baseball, NHL hockey. He's had several golf long shots, 50-1, 35-1. What else you got going on at WagerTalk.com?
2 college NCAA games, which go much later today, and 1 NHL game. Looking forward to the baseball. I was looking at the Dodgers lineup now that they've signed Freddie Freeman. Holy crap. I mean, that is just, it's one of the best lineups I've ever seen. Anyway, things are going well. I'm up over 100 units already for 2022, so I'm happy. And my stuff's going to be very brief today because I am a native of Providence. Their game is on right now, and quite frankly, while I like doing this stuff with you guys, I want to watch the Friars. So I'm going to be in and out with my analysis on these games.
Sounds good. And let's get started then. We're going to look at 3 games, as I said, for Friday. And once again, check out Wager Talk TV here. We have a ton of Thursday night games posted, whether it's Wager Talk Today, other videos as well here on this channel. But we'll give you some advanced looks at Friday. Going to start off, Ralph, with Michigan State and Davidson. I watched that Davidson game last week. It is my hometown Richmond Spiders upset them in the A10 final on Sunday to get the automatic bid as a 3.5-point dog. So Davidson coming off a loss. Michigan State as well. Which team gets a win here, Ralph Michaels?
You're muted, Ralph.
Oh, I get to do the Tony Finn voice on Ralph. I've lived for this
No,
moment.
now I'm back.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah, I've had this nagging cough, so I mute myself in between guys. So I did it twice yesterday. I screwed up, and Joe Raineri had to yell at me. The funny thing about Michigan State is they were looking for a go-to scorer. So what happens? Foster Lawyer transfers out and turns into the top scorer for Davidson this year, shooting 45.5% from three-point land. I've watched this, and I think there's some value in the total. People think of Michigan State as this slow team with the Izzo defense in March, but Michigan State's actually a top 100 team pressing the pace on offense. Davidson, a slow team as well, but an elite offense, number 12 in Ken Palm's rankings, number 6 in the country in three-point offense. And you have Michigan State's defense. Again, a solid defense, but not the numbers we're accustomed to. They're outside the top 50. So I am going to have a slight lean with the over in this game. There's talk Tom Izzo can stop Foster Lawyer because he's so familiar with him. And you saw Richmond did stop him. Lawyer only was 1 of 7. So while I lean Davidson in the beginning, I think those matchup problems might be a little bit of concern because they do need them. But I think both teams will press the pace. And at both teams, very good free throw shooting teams. Sneaky play on the over here for me.
Yeah, it is a sneaky play because, as you said, Izzo's known for that half-court tenacious defense, rebounding. They're the last Big Ten team to win a national title. I think it was all the way back in 2000. The Big Ten, of course, got 9 teams in the tournament. No other conference got more than 6 this year, Tony Finn. Is the Big Ten for real? Michigan State only about a 1-point favorite here against the lower-seeded Davidson Wildcats.
Well, I have not been a Michigan State backer this season, should I say. In most situations, I faded Michigan State, the Spartans, because of for several reasons. One, because I didn't think the typical staple that Izzo that is a trademark of Izzo and his teams, where they are good in transition, much like you just spoke to, that basically they are pretty good in transition when they get out. They don't have a wing that's that creative as they have in the past that can lead a transit, that can get out in transition and create his own shot. They don't do anything really, really well. They don't do anything really, really poorly. It's Davidson. This game, I would be playing against Davidson because of Davidson, because of the Atlantic 10. I thought the Atlantic 10, my esteemed colleagues might disagree, but I thought they came in this tournament a little bit overrated. So that said, Davidson's probably going to shoot a little more from the perimeter against Michigan State. And when they sag that defense, and they don't shoot the three that often. But I think that's what happens here. Michigan State, they don't have a problem with three. If they're hitting their threes, I think they win this thing convincingly.
Yeah, Dave, the three-point shot decides a lot of these conference tournaments and NCAA tournament games nowadays. It's the great equalizer, and Davidson's an excellent offensive team, shooting a 39% almost from three-point range. Michigan State, though, a surprising 38% from beyond the arc. The one thing that jumped out to me, Dave, though, is that Davidson's three-point defense is weaker against a weaker schedule. How much of a difference do you think the three-point shooting will probably be in this game?
Well, I don't think that's going to be the key to the game. Let me talk to about Davidson for a minute. I didn't think it was a big deal at all if they lost to Richmond. I had Richmond 3 games in a row in the Atlantic 10 conference tournament, went 3-0. And, let's face it, Richmond had a lot more to play for in the conference championship game because Davidson was in. They were already in, and Richmond wasn't. Teams are relatively close in talent, so to me, that was a big handicapping advantage to Richmond. I think Davidson's as smart a team as you're going to find in college basketball. McKillop's a great coach. I think the game's dead even. And honestly, Izzo's a genius, obviously, but this isn't the smartest team he's ever had. I think Davidson might find a way to pull this one out. Not going to be a play I'm involved in. I made Michigan State 1.5, so it's right about on the number. I'll lean to Davidson, though, to find a way to squeeze out a win here.
Yeah, it definitely would not be too much of an upset. As you said, Michigan State opened a 2-point favorite, currently a 1-point favorite on Thursday afternoons. We're doing the show, and this is the late Friday game at 9:40 Eastern, so it'll be the last game that tips off in the round of 64. Going to look at another late night game for Friday, and this is an interesting team for me, guys, and that's the Houston Cougars. Our producer, Robert's Houston Cougars, and I thought Houston, of all the teams that were seated high or low, I thought they got vastly underseeded. In fact, as a 5 seed, if you look at the KenPom and Sagergan ratings, which a lot of people use, they're top 3, top 4 in those ratings. They could have almost been a 1 seed, a strong 2 seed, yet they got a 5. Because of that, they get a more difficult first round matchup now against a 12 seed in UAB. And the odds are saying that, Tony, I'll start with you. Houston only an 8.5 point favorite in this game. We've seen no movement from the opening number. Total did open 137.5, now down to 136 in a lot of spots. So a little bit of money on the under. No movement on the side, but Houston, in my opinion, could be a dangerous team here as a 5 seed. They play slow down, half court style, good defense experience. So, what are your take on this game, Houston UAB Friday night, Tony Penn?
Well, Houston's this isn't a team that should be taken lightly, as you said. I mean, look what they did last year. They basically entered this season doing essentially the same things they do. They play hard, play physical. They're a great defensive team. And they just grind and grind and grind, and they wear on teams. I mean, in the tournament, they were pretty dominant, weren't they? For 3 straight games, they were dominant. And they came into the tournament, like you just said, they may have been overlooked a little bit and underseeded because they're number 3, I think, in the NCAA in that ranking. So that said, this is a team also that many will say they're built for the tournament. They're built. This is the kind of team you want. If they catch a team that's hot and shooting the ball well, this is a team that can also be beat, and they can go early, or they can end up just where they were last year, and that is in that Elite 8 playing to be in that Final 4. They came in their tournament hot. They won, I believe 9 of 10 of their last 10 games, and offense 61st nationally, 77 points a game. A good team that's difficult for me sometimes to put my arms around. I don't like laying almost double digits with Houston guys, but they did win those tournament games in the AAC, dominated 3 straight. So I'm not on this game, not against Houston, not with them, but I'm sure interested in watching the game. That's for certain.
Yeah, Dave, both these teams had to win. They played 3 games in 3 days and won all of them last weekend. So I guess the rest factor is kind of negated, although UAB was off a day sooner. They played Saturday versus Sunday for Houston. What Dave Koken, what's your take on this Houston Cougars team? Do you agree with me that they were underseeded as a 5, and how are you looking at this matchup?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't think they're quite as good as they were last year, but they're still a real good team. Power rating, I think the line's right where it should be. the analysis of the game, this is one of those tempo deals, and I think Houston's going to be able to take UAB out of their preferred tempo, which is up and down the court. That's, to me, the big factor in the game. I don't think UAB is going to be able to play the style that they like, and I think that's going to get the Blazers in trouble. So I could see Houston pulling away and winning this one by double figures. That's the side I would look at.
So Ralph finishes off here with this Friday night game, UAB Houston. I agree with Dave. I think tempo is going to be the key. Houston does like a lot slower pace than UAB. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, the difference of last year's Houston team and this year's Houston teams is Grimes and Zass are not playing. You know, the offensive go-to guys, 3 guys are averaging double digits, but they don't have those studs that they can count on. With this said, in this matchup, though, you know, you look at UAB and Andy Kennedy has done a great job, but that team goes as Jordan Jelly Walker goes. And UAB played a very weak schedule in the 170s. And you look at, they played 5 top 50 defenses. That's it. Seton Hall, Walker went 1 for 7. North Texas twice, a combined 9 of 22. South Carolina, he went 1 of 8. So the top defenses have slowed Walker down. If you can slow Walker down, you can beat UAB. Houston with an absolutely elite defense, I think they do slow him down. I agree with Dave, they take him out of their pace. Houston, a team in the tempo of 300s. UAB on offense 41. So they want to push the ball and press the pace. I don't think they get it done. I like Houston here.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument that the side and totals are somewhat correlated in that game, right? UAB one's faster, Houston one's a little bit slower. That is Friday night, 9:20 Eastern. Houston Cougars an 8.5-point favorite over the UAB Blazers. And now we're going to look at a mid-matinee game on Friday afternoon around 3:20 Eastern, and that's Miami of Florida against USC Southern Cal. Two pretty good teams here. Miami 23-10, USC 26-7 on the season. They're only one of 3 Pac-12 teams to get a bid this year. Arizona, of course, UCLA, the other two. USC was the third team to sneak in this tournament. And Dave, let's start with you on this one. This is a Friday afternoon game, and I'm currently seeing USC about a 1.5 to 2 point favorite, depending on where you look, a little bit higher than the 1.5 point opening line. Mostly twos out there now. Total opened around 141.5, and it's now down to 139.5. So a little bit of movement to USC and the under. Dave Koken, how do you see Miami of Florida and USC playing out on Friday afternoon?
I would agree with the movement because I think USC is the better team. Look, the Pac-12 might only have 3 teams in, but those 3 teams could be playing for a long time. UCLA is real good. USC is real good. Arizona might be the best team in the country. The ACC is not very good this year. That's why they don't have many bids as opposed to past editions of the ACC. And I think it's going to show in this game. USC is huge. They're athletic. The one thing they don't do well, obviously we know about this, they're a terrible free throw shooting team. But that's only going to matter if it's close. I'm not sure it's going to be close. I think USC 5 or 6 points better than Miami in this game. Good chance I'll be on the Trojans tomorrow as a selection.
Ralph, what's your take on the Pac-12 overall? As I said, they only got 3 teams in, 3 pretty good teams. So how do you see this one playing out? USC a slight favorite against Miami.
Well, a year ago we were all talking about who's going to bet on anyone in the Pac-12, and look at the runs they made with UCLA and Oregon State. So, I agree with Dave. You have two of the top 10 teams in the country plus USC. I think Miami's a little overrated. I have them in about 65 as far as my power ratings go. Played a very weak ACC conference. USC's defense, I think, can stop them. They take Miami out of their pace. I think it's going to be a rebounding advantage. I could see USC being plus 8 or 10 rebounds in this game. Rebounding the difference, defense as well. I am on the Trojans.
Yeah, Tony, I love the fact that Ralph brings up that nobody liked the Pac-12 last year, yet they go on a run. We see that so often in these tournaments, right, that the teams or the conferences that nobody thinks deserves to be there end up doing better. And that's where I will give the committee credit. Big Ten got 9 teams in. No other conference got more than 6. We'll see how the Big Ten fares this year. Tony Finn, in this game, though, Miami, USC, which way are you looking?
Well, I'm going to agree with both these guys. I mean, first off, Miami's not a small team. They're a big team. They don't use their size like a big team that USC does. But they do, they don't shoot very well. They do shoot from the line pretty well, something that USC doesn't do. And they rebound pretty well. But USC counters everything Miami does well. And they really do it better. They'll prevent Miami from getting out and running. USC wants to be in a fist fight, guys. They want to be in a fist fight. They don't want to run down the court. They grab all the rebounds. They don't give up offensive rebounds. And for the most part, again, what Miami wants to do and what they're going to be able to do against USC, it's just not going to happen. I agree with both these guys. USC's not only the better team here. This is a USC team that can go. They can go in the tournament. They can actually go pretty deep if they get matchups like this, because this is a matchup they should love. Give me USC.
Got some Trojan love here on the show, and that's a Friday afternoon game at 3:20 Eastern. USC a 2-point favorite over Miami of Florida. Now, look, we just covered 3 games for Friday daytime and nighttime action. Don't forget, All of us have some strong best bets for Thursday night as well at WagerTalk.com. Want to get a free play here for the show from each of you on the way out, though. And Ralph Michaels, we'll start with you. One of these games we talked about here for Friday that you like a little bit more than the others?
I'm going to go with Davidson and Michigan State over. All the reasons I mentioned on the write-up. 4 years ago, could you ever imagine me saying I'm going to bet on an Izzo over in March Madness? No, but it's a different team. So over Michigan State, Davidson.
An Izzo no. I like the sound of that. That's an interesting little slogan. The Izzo no. Hell no. He's been the last guy to win a Big Ten championship in the NCAA level. That was 2000. We'll see how they do. Looking for a fast pace. Once again, Davidson, Michigan State, as I said earlier, two excellent three-point shooting teams. That might help you get over the total there. Tony Finn, what you looking at here? Give us something maybe on the late night card Friday that somebody can use.
I think it is late. I mean, I like TCU. I think they're going late. I think they're like a 9:00 p.m. Central Time.
Last game of the round is 64.
There you go. Very good. 9th seed, TCU, 20-12 overall. This is their 9th tournament appearance. Listen, this 8th seed Seton Hall team is 21-10. I'm not selling them short, but I believe this TCU team is well underappreciated and in many ways disrespected. But then playing in the Big 12, a conference is tough. This is a team that beat Kansas late in the year at home and did it. It wasn't really, that game wasn't close. They handled Kansas from start to finish. And in this game, you're going to see basically a TCU team that's just been beaten up other teams. 8-8 quad one games this season. I think their 8 wins is a program record, tied for the 8th most nationally against quad ones. They're a top 25 team and a best conference, maybe next to SEC in Division I, and they handled the Seton Hall team easily tomorrow. Surprisingly easy, in my opinion, although many of the pundits I respect and have talked to disagree with.
Tony Finn likes TCU, the Horned Frogs at Pick'em, and that is the latest game on the card at 9:57 Eastern Friday night. That'll finish off the round of 64. Dave Koken, WagerTalk.com. Dave, of those 3 games we talked about today on the show on Friday, one you like a little bit better than the others?
Yeah, and just to go back to earlier this morning when we take Wager Talk today, Steve, you and I both thought Michigan was the right side. Looks like they're going to be the right side. A lot of my stuff in the NCAA tournament is based on opinion of the conferences at the top. I don't care about the overall rating because bad teams might drag a conference's overall rating down. I think you can take any of the 3 really good teams in the Pac-12, which would be Arizona, UCLA, and USC, and any of them would have won the ACC this year. So I like USC. They're better than Miami. I think that they match up well with the Hurricanes. The one worry would be Larinaga. He's one of the brilliant coaches, brilliant in-game coaches as well. But I think USC's got too much for the Canes, and I will go with USC minus the points, minus the very small number of points. I like the Trojans to get the winning cover.
Yeah, the Big Ten, Dave, if Michigan holds on here, as it looks like they will, and of course Indiana won the play-in game, and Rutgers loses in double OT, so it's not like they really lost that game. That was a tie as far as I'm concerned. Big Ten looking okay so far.
Hey, look, it should have been triple overtime if Rutgers had boxed out. How do you let a guy? It's 1-on-4, literally 1-on-4 under the basket.
Oh, that was awful. I went back and watched that like 5 times. Yeah, I slowed that down, Dave, and watched it 3 or 4 times, and like literally nobody put a body on that guy. He was just sitting there, and then he scooped it up and under. Yeah, I agree with you. And that was really a game I thought both teams were trying not to win at times in that double OT. And then, of course, Notre Dame 1 day's rest against a fast-paced Alabama team tomorrow and Friday will be an interesting matchup to watch. Let's not forget about the Gold Sheet. Let's get a free Thursday night play from the Gold Sheet. Goldsheet.com, and of course available at WagerTalk.com as well. And the Gold Sheet likes the Akron Zips as the big dog, the double-digit dog against UCLA, another Pac-12 team. And keep in mind, Akron won 3 straight games outright as an underdog against Buffalo, Toledo, and Kent State last weekend in the MAC tournament just to be here. The Gold Sheet says their momentum, their run is not done yet. They'll at least keep it close to cover the 13.5-point spread tonight. Goldsheet.com, WagerTalk.com says take Akron as the double-digit dog tonight against UCLA. And I'll throw in another Thursday night play here for the show. Free play for Thursday night in college hoops in the NCAA tournament. And this one goes around 7:20 Eastern. Going to take a look at the Indiana Hoosiers as a live dog plus the 2.5 against St. Mary's. The Big Ten, it got 9 teams. Nobody else got more than 6. It was a loaded conference this year. We saw Indiana win the play-in game against Wyoming, and they did so despite shooting just 2 for 13 from three-point range. 15%. They still won the game rather comfortably. Rutgers just missed out on advancing in double overtime against Notre Dame. Michigan wins early on Thursday afternoon. So the Big Ten's looking okay so far. And I think St. Mary's, as we all know, is a team that has to play very slow. And they will get that tempo here, but I feel Indiana's comfortable playing that way. And they're the better overall team from the better conference getting points. I think the Indiana Hoosiers are a live dog. We also have that play-in factor. If history's any indicator, either Notre Dame or Indiana will probably make a run to next weekend, right? We've seen teams even get as far as the Final Four. And the fact that Notre Dame just played double OT and has to play fast-paced Alabama tomorrow, my money's that Indiana's probably a little bit more likely of the two to make that a run. So we'll take the Indiana Hoosiers as a live dog plus 2.5 on Thursday night. Just a quick reminder, I've got 5 strong best bets tonight, today and tonight, including 3 nighttime games. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And a recap of the best bets from the show here on Thursday and some Friday games as well. Ralph Michaels looking at the over in that Davidson-Michigan State game, over 140.5. That's a late game, 9:40 Eastern Friday night. Tony Finn took the latest game of all, 9:57 Friday night. TCU Pick'em, the Horned Frogs against Seton Hall. Dave Koken has a Friday afternoon game at 3:20 Eastern Friday. USC Trojans -2 over Miami of Florida. Myself, Steve Merrill, I've got Indiana tonight at 7 Eastern as a live dog against St. Mary's. And the Gold Sheet, which could also be found at WagerTalk.com, likes another game Thursday night, Akron plus the 13.5 to keep it close against UCLA. Thanks for joining us, everybody out there in TV land and listening to us on the audio podcast. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. Let's get to 100,000. Hit the bell for instant alerts when these shows go live. Give it a thumbs up and leave us some comments below. Let us know your Final Four picks, your first and second round upsets, and who else you like on the Thursday and Friday NCAA card. And we'll be back tomorrow on Friday, same time, same channel, 1:45 Eastern, right here on Wager Talk TV. Best of luck tonight and enjoy the game.
Yes, there will be baseball. After a 99-day lockout, we now have a complete 162-game schedule starting with opening day on April 7th. To celebrate the return of baseball, we want to do a wow promotion, so here we go. The first 50 customers will get the full season of MLB, including the playoffs, for just over $3 per day. How much of a wow is this? MLB through the All-Star break is priced at $7.95, and through the World Series is priced at $1,095. But the first 50 customers can get MLB through the World Series for $6.99. No coupon is needed, and this comes out to just over $3 per day. Once we hit 50 redemptions, the super early bird discount will come down, and the lowest possible price to lock in baseball will no longer be available. So act fast before you get shut out on our biggest price drop ever.